and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. Some of my previous subscribers, welcome back. For today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing the political climate, the political energy going on in the United Kingdom. I was told by my guys at Chris it's time to do this video. I've been dreading this video for a couple of months, or even better yet, years to do this video, but it has come, it has arrived. So we're going to talk about the United Kingdom political futures, political path of where it's heading energetically. I don't really know much about British politics or what's going on currently right now in Britain, so this is a blind reading. So if you are from Britain, or if you are from the UK, or you know somebody from the UK, feel free to correct me in the comment section below, and I'm more than happy to be corrected. I might not be able to interpret things, but I don't have the proper vocabulary preset to be able to transcribe the messages that I'm getting, so I'm going to do my very best to transcribe those energies. And if you are from Britain, or you know are very familiar with the energy you feel in Britain, feel free to comment them. I'm really interested to see what you have to say. Anyway, this video is being recorded on Tuesday, September 16th at 10:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as and when I'm recording this video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content. Sharing this video with others really help boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. If you want to stay in the loop and be notified when I do post and upload, go into the comment section below or the description, find my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, and you'll be notified personally by me. But if you also want YouTube to also notify you as well, hit the bell icon and select turn on all notifications so that YouTube 50% of the time will notify you when I post something or when a video goes live or something like that. Anyway, this video is just for entertainment, for educational purposes only as well. Again, like I said before, this video is just a blind reading. I don't really know what's going on, but Spirit kept telling me you should probably look at it because there might be fascism in the United Kingdom. So let's go ahead, let's take a look. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. Is there anything else? Nope, that's pretty much it. If you want to watch any of my other United Kingdom videos, anything related to that, like the Monarchy, all those videos will be in the description below, plus other countries as well if you're interested in watching a whole multitude of different countries, or maybe you want to find your country. Anyway, let's go ahead, let's begin. I hate long intros, so do you. Alright, so, I have no idea how to start this because I'm going in blind here. Okay, what do you want me to do, Spirit? And for those of you guys who are new, I'm clear audience. I hear from my right ear, so they talk to me even despite me being deaf. Let me see. Hold on. Just so you can actually see me do something. What do we got from my fellow Britons? Okay, so we have the European one. We have this deck. This is more like Southeastern Europe, but it's still European deck regardless. What's going on in Britain right now? Okay, let's take a look at the astrology aspect. We'll take a look at the astrology. I'm hearing the journey of the soul. Let's go to the spirit of England. There's something going on with England and the spirit. I don't know what that is. If you guys can tell me in the description, let me know, because it says here there's something going on with Britain's spirit. It's telling me it's like its energy, its path, it's being changed in some way. It's like it's malleable now. Like, I don't know. I do know you guys are going to Pluto return just like the United States, and I wonder if that is having an effect. I mean, I would have assumed so, because if it's having an effect in the United States, it would also affect what's going on in the UK, you know? Common sense, right? Alright, so Spirit Angels tell me about Britain. What's going on in Britain right now that you really wanted me to talk about with my subscribers, or to my fellow Britons, or people who have family in Britain? What's going on in Britain right now? Why is it so important for me to talk to my subscribers about this? Okay, there's too many cards. Let's break it up a bit. I know this is a new deck, so that's why I'm shuffling this a little bit more than I normally would, because there is more, what's it call it? Everything's kind of all stuck together, and I want to make sure I get an accurate reading. Okay, let's see. Okay, what's going on in Britain? Why is it important for you guys to talk to me? Okay, I've just got to turn some cards over. Look, what's going on in Britain? Why is it important for us to talk about? What's going on in Britain? Okay, got it. Okay. Well, the first time I'm actually using these decks for an actual video, I just used these with a client. We have the Page of Cups reverse. And I don't know who this weirdo is, but we do have a fish in a cup. We have a cat. And we have some coins, and we have a ball and nose. You want to know what this energy is giving me up? It's giving me William Shakespeare. I know it's not William Shakespeare, but it's giving me the energy of William Shakespeare. Isn't that in London, if I'm correct? We also have here, we have the Knight of Cups reversed. The Knight of Cups. So this is going back to medieval. So something about Britain is going back to the past, about the medieval past. Okay. We have the Queen of Cups. This is giving me Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria vibe. This is giving me the energy of them wanting to experience what it's like to be under a woman again, not a man. I feel like there's dissatisfaction with either a male leader or a masculine leader. Could be either the monarchy or it could be the prime minister. But there's a lot of desire for this feminine energy. We do also have here as well as we have the King of Cups. Oh, God. Okay, this is King Henry. This is King Henry, I think. He's something. He's the man with many wives. Yeah, that's the man with many wives. But you see here the pot I'm getting is being eaten out. Like, it's kind of hollow. But it's reversed. It's saying that it's not hollow. This almost feels like something on the outskirts. Like, almost for example, what's happening in Britain right now, according to what I'm getting in the cards, it's like a chicken pot pie, right? And all the filling inside the chicken pot pie, it's gone. It's being eaten. But the outer layer is still there. That's kind of like what it feels like with Britain. It feels like all its resources are being depleted, but on the outskirts, everything's being dressed as fine. Because the next card is we have the Ace of Swords. And here you have the Lion, the woman who wants war. This is the Ace of Swords reversed. And this is telling me is that Britain yearns for the time in which it was respected. So I feel like what's going on in Britain right now, a lot of Brits feel like they're not being respected. Like people feel like they can walk on top of them. This might be the feeling and the emotion that maybe the House of Commons or better yet the Parliament or the Prime Minister or the monarchy might be overstepping their duty on the British people. It feels like there is an amount of feeling of disrespect by those in position of power in Britain right now. And we have here as well, we have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is certainty. But in this card, it means this woman who doesn't know how to hold things. Like she's gentle, but yet doesn't know how to hold. But you notice how she's holding the swords very weirdly? But you have her two fingers here. And the two fingers, when it comes to something like that, and these two take two fingers like this, it means chair or to sit in ASL, but it's reverse. And here's the butterfly in reverse. And it falls underneath William Shakespeare and the Knight of Cups. There's something here with certainty. With certainty. There's this confidence in reverse. Okay, we're going to break this down in a minute. We have here as well, we have the Three of Swords. Oh, this is somebody in shock. There's somebody in shock. The Three of Swords, what is she looking at? At the moth? We don't know what she's looking at, but she's looking at something. She's terrified. And she's looking at the Queen of Cups. This is the Queen Victoria. This is Queen Elizabeth energy, right? The feeling of wanting to have that feminine energy, that feminine person back in power, this feeling that you're not being cared for. I think what happened with Britain is that Britain had been overdressed by this woman who had cared for the nation and kind of quelled any sort of problem that came about or arises to the forefront. It feels like, if this is referring to Queen Elizabeth, what I think it is, it's representing that the country was at a calmer state when Queen Elizabeth was alive, when she was still queen. But since then, that has changed. It feels like the masculine doesn't know how to be caring when the country needs love and appreciation, not to be discerned, not to be told what to do, but to rather be understood and have the right maneuvers. I think a lot of people are going to start to realize that Queen Elizabeth was truly one of a kind. And here we have as well, we have the Forest Story. And the Forest Stories feels like, this feels very much like a king laying down on the deathbed, but it's reversed. This almost tells me eventually that because this woman is shocked and it looks like Queen Elizabeth, ironically, it was Queen Elizabeth, I think, or Queen Mary. Queen Mary of Scots could be one or the other. But the Four Swords reverse is telling me Rasputin, which means it tells me here that something is coming for the king or the monarchy, and the queen is shocked to see the death or to see the end of something. And here you have as well, we have the Five of Swords. Now, obviously, we talked about the death of the king and how it could be symbolic and also, physically, and what that also means long term. So I'll put that link in the description below and at the end of the video. We also have here as well, we have the Five of Swords. We have here somebody in battle, but these are different phases of Britain, right? You have the Romans, you have the Disciple, and then here you have is the medieval, or this energy of like, I'm better than you, I'm a scholar, etc. That's what I'm getting here. It's reverse. This tells me that these are politicians here. These people are politicians. And the next card is we have as well, we have the Six of Swords, which tells me immigration issues, that the Six of Swords, the trouble with immigration in England. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm getting immigration. We also have here as well, we have the Seven of Swords, which means somebody is attempting to undercut something, which makes sense because remember we have here the cup is being eaten. I mean, not the cup. The chicken pot pie is being hollowed out, but on the outer layer, it seems like everything's normal, but on the inner side, it's not normal. But here we have stolen, and here you have is the Page of Cups reversed, which is William Shakespeare, which represents England at its finest. At least we don't really know what you guys consider it to be finest, but that's what it's saying here. That England was at its best when William Shakespeare was alive. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on when William Shakespeare was alive. I don't know what England was like during that time, so I cannot attest to this. But that's what it's saying here. It's saying that there was something around that period that people want to go back to. Or there was something that is an inference point to about something that might be repeated in modern day England that happened during the time it was William Shakespeare was alive. And here you have it, the Two of Swords reversed, which means with certainty, and somebody attempting to undercut the nation. So somebody is doing something to undercut the nation, and here we have is the Eight of Swords, which means don't look. But here we have the butterfly, and this is the Eight of Swords reversed. It's saying not to look. I want to know why they're telling people in Britain not to look. Where is my butterfly deck? Because that's going to be important to tell us what is being told to us. What's more obvious? What are we missing? We're missing something. Where's my other tarot cards? Where's my butterfly? Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. Alright, here's the butterfly deck. As you guys probably already noticed, there's a lot of butterflies and moths. Does not matter. They're both the same species. Or they're subspecies. Does not matter. I'm not a scientist right now. The main idea is we're trying to understand the message that they're trying to tell us about Britain. What is going on in Britain? There's a lot of reversed, or all reversed, really, surprisingly. Okay. What is the message about Britain? Ooh, okay, there's a lot. Okay, that's, okay. So the parental care comes up, these two. Oh, there's three, okay. So three about the time it was happening with William Shakespeare. And what is coming for the future in England? So I guess here, you know how I said the king dies, or there's a point where the queen, or the Queen Mary of Scots, is looking very shocked at the Four Swords reverse? This represents the king, or the monarchy, which means that this is where we are right now. So this is the past, and this is the future. Just for reference here. This, the past. This, the future. For reference, this is the halfway point. Alright, now that we established that. Okay, tell me what is coming for Britain in the future? What is going on here? Ooh, okay, I guess we'll take that. That's the challenge. And what is going on for Britain? What is going on for Britain? Okay, 3 things on the right, 3 things in the past, 2 things here, 1 thing here. That was not planned, it just happened to be that way. The bottom deck here, we have join in. So there might be a war, there might be an ally, there might be a new organization, there might be something new coming in Britain. We also have here as well, we have body changes. Yeah, so something big is changing. There's a transformation underway in Britain. Britain is going to be unrecognizable. And at some point, I think during one of my videos back in 2020, I talked about how during one of my psychic visions, I foresaw how Britain undergoes fascism or authoritarianism, very similar to what's happened in the United States, because it was one of the main allies that fought against the Nazis back in World War II, and therefore at this time it's going to revert itself and it's going to become the enemy it once faced. That's what I'm getting. The same thing with the United States. This is not This is not a coincidence. This is by happenstance. This was designed because in order for you to show the universe that you have truly learned, you must become the shadow that you once fought. And if you can heal that shadow and come to terms with that shadow, you then taught the universe that you have healed. And therefore, you're no longer doomed to repeat it. Anyway, going back into the past with William Shakespeare and everything going on here, the first card that comes in is a lack of support. This is a lack of support, especially around the flower. Why the flower? I'm hearing the word daisy. 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 What's going on with daisy? A yellow daisy. I'm hearing calm, respected love. There might be a problem of appreciation in the past. Okay? And the yellow represents the solar plexus, which means confidence. I do. I think there was some lack of confidence in Britain early stages around the time it was William Shakespeare was around. I gotta look it up. I want to know what time period it is. We also have here, we have retirement. This is the crown chakra. It means I understand. This is not a time to step back. This is a time to move forward, to progress, regardless if you're not being supported. This is Britain in the past here. We also have here as well, you are stronger than you know. So yeah, this is a very fragile period for England. And that's for some reason, people in Britain want to go back to this. Or maybe this might be the politician overshadowing the collective energy in Britain, and they want to go back to this, to a weakened state, to a weakened Britain. Because we have here, we have parental care. And parental care comes in the past. Because we have here, we have the Page of Cups reversed, which means wishful thinking. We have here the Two of Swords reversed, which means certainty. And you have the Seven of Swords, which means an attempt. Right? So let's put together here. So we have the Page of Swords, the Page of Cups, which means wishful thinking, with certainty, and attempt. So Britain was trying to do something. There was some sort of idea or some sort of plan, some sort of initiation that failed. And this was essentially saying that Britain has to start this again. Whatever it is that Britain's doing in the past, it's going to be reignited. I'm getting told the Industrial Revolution. I don't know if this is during that time frame, but something with technology. It's like a repeat. But Britain needs to reinvest back into technology. There's something here with a lack of investment here. We have as well, we have the Knight of Cups, which tells me battlefield. Britain just feels like it can't go to battle because that's not where it's supposed to be. At least that's what in the past. We have here, we have the Queen of Scots, Queen Mary of Scots, being kind of shocked or shooked. Right? We have this kind of shook, so shaken. This is the Three of Swords. Right? The Three of Swords means betrayal. The King of Cups means a guy who's very calm in the midst of chaos. So this is reversed. So a chaotic leader causing chaos. That's what it means. A chaotic leader causing chaos who attempt to betray. So it almost feels like in some way, this chaotic leader in Britain, whoever this is trying to do this with the intention to help Britain, but is actually unintentionally hurting Britain. And then that card that follows after that is the Eight of Swords. They don't really see the harm in their ways. They see like this is a positive. It almost feels like how some people just can't recognize it. They just just can't speak. They just should not be speaking because they'll just do more damage than harm. That's what it feels like. It's like when you have your husband and you let him talk for you. Just for example, you go to send him into the grocery store with a list. He comes up with everything you asked for in the list. That's the kind of thing I'm getting. We also have here on top of this, we have parental care. This also keeps reimagining to me for somebody to keep going back to when Britain was at its highest point with colonies. Feeling that energy. So it feels like there's two polar opposites. There's a group of people, whether in politics or a collective of energy, who feel like they want to weaken state of United Kingdom. Then we have those who are a separate faction who want to create that type of monarchy, very, very strong Britain. And then we have those who are just very chill. So there's like 3 different factions going on in England. This is in the past. Now we start to reach the middle point here. The middle point is where Pluto returns when it peaks. I don't know exactly when it starts to peak in Britain, but I assume it's going to be around this point. We have here as well, we have the Queen of Cups. This is giving me this Elizabeth style energy. Somebody who offered a lot, but got not much back in return. Now she's getting a lot back in return because of respect. This is giving Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth, with the 4 of Swords reversed, which means a king or a monarchy or a system of government ways is going to die in England. And here we have the heavenly signs. If that's not a sign of death, I don't know what is, because that's literally exactly what it is. Because we fall right on top of the 4 of Swords, and the Queen of Cups, which indicated Queen Elizabeth died. And here we have the King of Cups, was, I think if I'm right, I think he was beheaded, but I might be wrong. I'm going to take a look at the King Henry, the one with many wives. Let me take a look. I don't really know much about him. I think it was King Henry. King Henry. Oh, here it is. King Henry the 7th, I think it was. The former King of England. This is what he looked like. Looks very similar. Let's see. How did he die? Okay, so he died. His death was in 1547. And his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. I want to know when he died. Okay, so he... let's see. Decline and death. Let's take a look. I know a lot of you guys are from Britain, so you guys are probably well informed about this. But I'm going to read it for those of you guys who are not familiar with British history. I know a little bit, not a lot. Okay, so it says here, later in life, Henry became obese with a weight measurement of 54 inches and had to be moved about the help of mechanical devices. He was covered with painful pus, boiled, and possibly had gout. His obesity and other medical problems could be traced to the jousting accident in January 24th in 1536, in which he suffered a leg wound. The accident reopened an aggravated injury he had sustained years later, to the extent that his doctor found it difficult to treat. The chronic wound festered for the remainder of his life and became unadulterated, preventing him from maintaining the level of physical activity he has previously enjoyed. The jousting accident is also believed that caused Henry's mood swing, which may have had a dramatic effect on his personality and temperament. The theory that Henry had syphilis has been dismissed by most historians. Historian Susan Cabot ascribed his death to scurvy, is caused by insufficient vitamin C, most often due to the lack of fresh fruit and vegetables in one's diet. In 2010, studies suggest Henry may have been of Kell-positive blood type to explain both his physical and mental deterioration, being consistent with some symptoms of MC Lloyd syndrome and the high mortality of the pregnancy attributed to him. Henry's obesity hastened his death at the age of 55 on January 28, 1547, in the Palace of Whitehall, on what would have been his father's 90th birthday. The tomb he had planned, with the components taken from the tomb intended for Cardinal Wolsey, was only partly constructed and never completed. The esophagus and the base were later removed and used for Lord Nelson's tomb in the crypt of St. Paul's Cathedral. Henry was intended in a vault in St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle next to James Seymour. Over 100 years later, King Charles I ruled 1625 to 1649, was buried in the same vault. Okay, so here's the connection. We have a King Charles now, King Charles III, and we're trying to understand why King Henry the 7th came in. We now just got our connection. King Henry, it connected because somehow it connected to King Charles I. There's that. I think there was also a connotation about what happened with the Charles. Let's see. Let's take a look. I think there was something there with the prophecy here. King Charles prophecy. Okay, let's see. While numerous prophecies have circulated regarding King Charles III, none have been proven to be factual predictions of future events. The Nostradamus prophecy, the prediction, a popular theory about 16th century French astrologer Nostradamus, is that his work can be interpreted to predict King Charles III's reign will be short. Which is true because in other videos that I did well before I even knew about Nostradamus and his prediction, which I just found out now because I didn't watch his prediction for Nostradamus and I don't really watch him at all. But, what's it called? In one of my videos with Queen Elizabeth, it said that he had 5 years to reign and he was going to die. Yeah. And it says here, this will lead to his abdication in favor of a younger, unexpected successor who is not William, which is true. I also did get that in my reading, and that was chilled. So, yeah, that also was in my reading as well, and that was not when I watched the Nostradamus. This is the first time I'm reading Nostradamus' prophecy in regards to Charles. I knew about it, but I knew more about the historical aspect in real life, but the coincidences, but I did not know about this prophecy in regard to Nostradamus. So this is on par with what I've gotten. Why it circulated? Following the death of Queen Elizabeth II in 2022, Nostradamus expert Mario Reading claimed to have decoded a passage from Nostradamus' 1555 book, Les Prophecies. The passage described a king being driven out by force. Reality, Nostradamus' writings are so vague that they can be applied to many different scenarios after an event had already occurred. There is no evidence that his writing can predict the future. A note on celebrity prediction, blah, 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 not needed. I kind of really wanted to, what I was trying to get at, besides the prophecy, I really wanted to know the coincidences. Okay, that's really what I wanted to know. Coincidences. Okay, so here's really what I was trying to get here, the historical aspect, not Nostradamus. Okay, it says here, numerous parallels and dramatic historical echoes link King Charles III with his predecessors, King Charles I and Charles II, who ruled in the 17th century during a period of upheaval and civil war. Coincidences and comparisons with Charles I. Controversial reign. Charles I's reign from 1625 to 1649 was marked by bitter conflict with Parliament over religious and political power, ultimately leading to the Civil War. Like Charles I, the current King Charles III had faced controversy. Early in his life, his public image suffered due to the scrutiny surrounding the marriage to and divorce from Princess Diana, a difficult name. Some royal experts suggest that the current monarch might choose another name, such as his middle name George, because the name Charles is associated with a king who was executed. By choosing to become King Charles III, he directly invoked the two previous monarchs with the same name, both whom have complicated legacies. The king's execution. Charles I was put on trial and executed in 1649, an unprecedented event for English monarch. This led to a period of Republican rule in England under Oliver Cromwell. Hamilton Court connection. Both Charles I and his heir, Charles II, were imprisoned at the Hampton Court Palace. A century later, Charles III was the last monarch to live there, holding his 50th birthday party at the palace in 1998. The coincidence and comparison with Charles II. Restoration and exile. After Charles I's execution, his son, Charles II, spent many years in exile before the monarchy was restored in 1660. In a modern parallel, Prince Charles spent a long time as heir apparent, waiting for over 70 years to ascend to the throne. Multiple children with no legitimate heir. Charles II was known as a playboy with numerous mistresses and many illegitimate children, but his wife had no children who survived. This led to his brother James inheriting the throne. An illegitimate descendant. Interestingly, some members of the modern aristocracy, whatever you call it, including the late Diana, Princess of Wales are descended from Charles II through his illegitimate offspring. This creates a direct genealogical link to the current royal family. Social and cultural change. Charles II's reign marked a period of cultural resurgence known as the Restoration, which saw a flourishing of the arts and science. The transition to current King Charles III's reign similarly followed a period of immense social change and the end of a long Elizabethan era. Additional numbered coincidences for Charles III. While not connected to his royal predecessor, other numerical curiosities are associated with the current monarch. The banknote serial number following the introduction of King Charles III's portrait on new banknotes. Collectors have started out notes with the special serial numbers such as AA01 from the first batches or numbers linked to his date of birth, November 14, 1948. The birthday number, his birth date, November 14, 1948, has been noted as a significant and collectible number. I really didn't find any of that to be helpful, but okay. That's interesting. So we have some similarities here, so we can kind of see that. Let's take a look and find out when William Shakespeare was around. I want to know if this connects to any of them. Let's see. I guarantee you he's like in the 1200. I guarantee you it's going to be way off. William Shakespeare. Let's see, when was he alive? Okay, April 23rd. He died on April 23rd, 1616. He was alive and around in 1564. Let's go ahead, let's take a look what king was around. Okay, King Charles I was in 1625. So he was not around there. I want to see what reign. Okay, hold on. 1616, okay. William Shakespeare. Wait, hold on. So William Shakespeare came 20 years later after Henry VII died. So who was the king or queen before that? Let's take a look. Who was the head of monarch in 1616? Okay, let's see. James VI and the First. That's confusing. Okay, so in 1616, Europe was composed of many kingdoms. Let's see, England and Scotland, James I of England. Oh, did we talk about James? So that came right after, and that's confusing. I don't really know, honestly. Anyway, but there's James. We talked about James earlier somehow in this video. Let's go back into the reading, because that's important. Alright, so. On top of the 5 restores, underneath the King Henry VII, we have here the 5 restores. And this is somebody feeling like they're smart and they know everything. But this is not true. This is the midpoint, right? This is happened right after the death of the king, or the death of the monarchy, whatever happened first. We have here on the verse with realization and Epiphanies. I feel like there's going to be a lot of polarities and similarities to the past here. Whatever I mentioned here, it's going to happen again, and it's going to be in a similar token. Something's happening here in the future, and it's going to be similar but different. We have here as well, we have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords reversed. This is the woman. This is the politician. This is the king and queen. Let me just take a look. I want to find out what happened around the time William Shakespeare was alive. Because I know we were supposed to do that, and I forgot about it until I read this. Okay. What was happening in England historically when Shakespeare was alive till his death? Okay, let's see. See what happened. What was happening in England historically when Shakespeare was alive till his death? Okay, let's read it. That will give us a little bit more clarity. During William Shakespeare's lifetime, 1564 to 1616, England underwent a societal transition from Elizabethan to Jacobean era. Oh crap, so this is a repeat right after Elizabeth, so the first Elizabeth, so Queen Elizabeth I. And we just exited out of Queen Elizabeth era II into King Charles. Interesting. Okay. During William Shakespeare's lifetime, 1564 to 1616, England underwent the societal transition from Elizabethan, Elizabethan to Jacobean era. The country solidified itself as a powerful Protestant nation under two different monarchs, while experiencing a flourishing of the arts, overseas expansion, and frequent societal upheaval caused by poverty, disease, and religious tension. Seem to be exactly on par with what I said. With the Elizabethan era with Queen Elizabeth I from 1558 to 1603, Shakespeare began his career during the later half of Queen Elizabeth I's reign, a period often romanticized as the Golden Age for England. Okay, so that was a good period then, so that makes sense. Okay, political and international relations strengthening Protestantism. Elizabeth I established the Church of England, and her long reign brought a temporary peace after decades of religious conflict. Which I already spoke about how Elizabeth II brought that, and she brought calmness and peace to England. This is a repeat. Naval triumph. In 1588, England defeated the Spanish Armada, a massive fleet sent by the Catholic Spain to invade England. This victory secured England's national identity as its dominant naval power. State-sponsored piracy. Elizabeth I sanctioned privateers such as Sir Francis Drake to raid Spanish treasure fleets. This enriched England and contributed to mounting tensions with Spain. Overseas expansion. The era saw the beginning of English colonial ambition in the New World, fueled by the desire to expand the empire and find new trade routes. Exactly what I said. Holy cow. Glad I was able to get all that information without actually knowing a lot about this. Okay, that's good. That's good. Society and culture. With the rise of theater, London theater scene exploded in popularity with the construction of purpose-built playhouses like the Theatre and the Globe. Playwrights such as Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe thrived, and by 1595, over 15,000 Londoners attended plays each week. Artistic Renaissance. Alongside drama, poetry and music flourished during this period. Poets developed new forms like the sonnet, while composers mastered the English madrigal. Don't know what that is. Extreme poverty and inequality. Rapid population growth led to an increase in poverty, with about a third of Londoners living under the below the level of poverty, basically. Beggars and vagabonds were common, and the wealthy were expected to provide alms to the poor, or provide money to the poor. Plague outbreak. Outbreaks of the bubonic plague were frequent and deadly, often forcing London theater to close for months at a time. The Jacobean era from 1603 to 1616. The Jacobean era began with the death of her unmarried Elizabeth I, who left no direct heir. The English crown passed to James I, James VI of Scotland. Political and religious climate. A union of the crown, which is, I guess in this instance, James I represents King Charles in some way. Union of Crown. James I's extension united the crown of England and Scotland, although the country's parliament and government remained separate, which tells me that there might be a separation between Scotland and England sometime in the future, becoming of King Charles. Increased religious tension. Despite early hope for tolerance, James I's reign saw a crackdown on Catholics. This led to Catholic extremist plot, most famously the Gunpowder Plot. The Gunpowder Plot in 1605, a group of English Catholics, including Guy Fawkes, attempted to blow up the House of Parliament with the king and his ministers inside. The plot was foiled and leading to severe anti-Catholic backlash. So it could be a possible terrorist attack in the future as well in England. Society and arts. The King's Men under James I's royal patronage, Shakespeare Theatre Company, formerly known as the Lord Chamberlain Men, became the King's Men. Darker themes. Jacobean literature, including Shakespeare's late tragedies and romances, explored darker themes and more complex, more ambiguities than much of the Elizabethan work, or Elizabethan work, Extravagance and corruption. The royal court under James I was known for extravagance and alleged corruption. This contrasts sharply with the continuous struggle of the urban poor. I feel like this also might be in play now with the Epstein files also probably somehow plaguing the monarchy in England, specifically when it comes to, I think, what's his name? Oh, Jesus. Prince Andrews, or Peter Andrews. Gotta be one or the other. The first foil. After Shakespeare's death in 1616, his fellow actors published the first foil in 1623, a collection of 36 of his plays. This work ensured his legacy was preserved for future generations. That was not needed. Anyway, that makes a lot of sense. We kind of understood the time frame. So basically, William Shakespeare was the marker for the time period in which we were talking about. It marked the age with Elizabeth, with the start of a new king. So a woman into a king, which is now, what we're having now with a repeat. So this is the butterfly effect. So now that we have butterflies here, it's a mirror image. That's what's going on in England. England, there's a mirror image. That's what this is, a mirror image. And so with this Ace of Swords, which means the Queen and the King, and we have here this idea of wanting something, but you can't because you're not as smart as you think you are because you just up your nose about it. And here's the card that we really need to focus on, the Trouble. Remember how I said immigration problems? Well, here's the first card. How are we doing this? Is this the first card or is this the first card? They're telling me this is the first card. Relationship dynamics. Relationship dynamics, so it's relationship, okay. Followed by get some rest. Get some rest. Followed by the reverse, seeking and finding. So it's really period right here. The trouble is the United Kingdom needs to really go within and really do some soul searching. It needs to find out who is England now. And it needs to be able to take frequent breaths in doing that. So what is the trouble coming? What is it telling us? The relationship dynamic indicating some sort of immigration issue. And this relationship, it tells me here that England is having some sort of strange on immigration status. Specifically when it comes to other nations of different backgrounds. And this is not talking about like the actual immigration crisis that I'm sure every nation is having. But I'm talking more so about the collections that makes up the United Kingdom, like Wales, or England, or Scotland, or Northern Ireland. That's what they're talking about here, the relationship dynamic within the nation. I wouldn't be surprised if they're saying there's a possible breakup coming for the nation. They're saying get some rest because seeking and finding is going to be pretty hard. Which tells me I don't know if they're going to find a solution. I do think that as of now it looks like Britain is going to break up. Because remember, during the Elizabethan era, it talked about the rise of England becoming this massive power and it's expanding. Well, in this aspect, if it's a butterfly effect, and this is what it's saying here in the Trouble, this would tell us that England is shrinking, the United Kingdom is shrinking. And the only way it could shrink is to lose more landmass, or to lose something so close to its identity, it changes England forever. Is that all, Spirit? Okay, they're saying that we did a good job. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys liked today's video. If you are British or you know anything about British history, let me know in the comment section below. I really want to know what you guys think and, if it's even accurate. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I love you. Have a great, great night. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye. Love you.